Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I'm here checking out Cat Quest. Let me just go and turn that frame rate counter off because trust me, we're not going to bloody need it. Where the hell was that setting? There we go. Alright, so this is it's more of a lightweight action RPG, like casual action RPG, and as you can tell from my Steam in-game time there, I've just barely been playing it for an hour and a half. I've been playing this on my GPD Win 2 and I've swapped to my desktop PC for this one, but trust me, even on the GPD Win 2, 60 frames per second, solid. It's a very simple graphical game, very well optimized though, so it basically runs on potatoes. You don't have to worry about that. This is also coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and Switch at some point in the future. They haven't given a specific time on that. Not much in the way of options. Don't really need them if I'm being perfectly honest. Everything in the game is well done enough. So, we'll just continue. No reason not to. Now, the game is very structurally simple. You've got the main quest, you've got side quests, you've got dungeons you can raid, you earn equipment, and you can upgrade said equipment. Let's go on a side quest. The Lost Treasure. Also, I'm playing this on a DualShock 4, but it also works with a 360 pad. Yeah, and I'm just gonna say it now. This writing is pawful. It's a bit rough. Yeah, had to. Yeah, it's full of ridiculous puns and just, you know, cats and dogs living with each other, mass hysteria. So, with that said, let's go and actually talk about something to do with the game. I guess in this case it'll be the combat. So, as I said, action RPG and pretty simple on top of that. You've got a dodge button, but your dodge doesn't actually have iframes, so you can't dodge through attacks. It is always worth noting that, because don't even try. Although they did literally just give me the ability to dodge through enemies and cause damage to them, which is actually kind of useful in certain situations. Some enemies are weak and strong to specific things, like for example, these icebergs up here are strong against spell attacks, but they are definitely not strong against physical attacks. You do also have a bunch of spells you can throw out. They are mapped to the shoulder buttons by default, but you can map them to whatever buttons you please, and they can also be weak or strong. What's this? What? There we go. Fragile. Oh, for God's sake. Pick me up and follow the trail. What? Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Oh, there's another body part, but yeah, we're gonna have to fight them off. You can't actually interact with anything while you are in the middle of a fight. They definitely do take advantage of this. You can't just bum rush past most monsters to get to a treasure chest or something like that. You do indeed have to worry about... actually taking out the enemies first and foremost. You do have a buddy, and by default this buddy is controlled via the AI, but you can play this in co-op with other players, or other player I should say, because this game's only 2-player max. With that said though, you can also take control of the buddy, or should I say just swap characters in general by pressing the triangle button, and they do have their own unique set of equipment. So, different armor, different weaponry, different spells. So, you can make either character, whichever one you please, whether it be like a mage, like I am with my dog here, or a warrior, like my cat. And this does actually make a pretty significant difference into how the two play, because as a mage, it actually reduces your health significantly, so you do more or less have to stay out of the way and open fire as much as humanly possible. Meanwhile, the warrior has higher health, so he can afford to get up close and personal. Thankfully, the AI is pretty decent at knowing which one of which that it actually is on that partner, on this partner. So, can't sense any more parts, huh? I'm guessing I just have to go back to where we started. Yep, hi. And I got some equipment for it. Cool. But yeah, the AI is usually pretty good at knowing where and how exactly it needs to be in order to actually fight. Like that time there where he got kind of wiped out is... Well, it's not unusual, but at the same time, so you can just walk over and revive him just by staying on him anyway. It's not the biggest deal in the world, and the AI usually is pretty competent. Then you get dungeons. This is one example of said dungeons. And these dungeons can involve simply getting to the end for hunting for treasure, or things like this, where it's basically just a gauntlet and you have to get through as efficiently as possible. You do have things like healing spells that you can pop out, so the game's not hard. You definitely have the tools you need to survive, and thankfully, even if you do die, if you do lose all of your health on both characters, they will put you down with all the experience and equipment you earned right back at the last place you rested. There's no like heading back to your last save. There's no BS like that. It's really friendly, which I appreciate. It doesn't waste your time, especially in a game where the dungeons and the general gameplay can be as repetitive as this. Having to replay a significant amount of gameplay would be a bit of a douche canoe. Hey, can you heal me up? I'd like to heal, please. No, I had a feeling that wasn't going to happen. Let's just drop this in and hope for the best, huh? Come on up, you get big guy. There you go. Your mana does come back pretty quick, so you can use spells almost as much as you want. It's also worth noting that they regularly increase the maximum amount of mana you can have, so I imagine by the end of the game you'll be throwing out storms of spells. Let's just make sure we're healed up completely and then go in for this, because the enemies are pretty heavily recycled, so you don't get too much in the way of enemy variety, but what they've got is alright. Nothing I can particularly complain about. And there are a fair few combinations of enemies which can lead to trouble, we'll put it that way. With that said though, the combat is pretty fun. I'm still trying to get used to the idea that I don't have iframes. If you don't know what iframes are, it's basically just invulnerability that you get at certain points during your dodge. Even while you're dodging, you can still be hit. So it's more or less just getting used to the idea that you need to be out of the way before they throw that attack out. But outside of that, you'll be fine. There's nothing really particularly nonsensical going on with the way this game designs its combat, and I'm fine with it. It works. The combat in this game does work. Works pretty well, actually. The pacing is fine. I've got nothing wrong in particular with the way it goes about itself. It's just enjoyable. Drop the heal spell and swap back. It is pretty enjoyable. It's not deep. That's kind of the major problem that it's got. It's not very deep, but as I said, it's a very casual game, and that's very clearly part of what they were attempting to do. So, I'm really not like... I don't have that massive of a problem with it. I'm just saying it's definitely not a game that you want to play for anything being remotely serious. Alright, show me the treasure. You don't want to play it remotely seriously. Minus 30% health, but a lot of bonus defense. That seems a bit pointless, but okay. There's another dungeon up here. We'll go check that out before we go into the equipment and stuff that we're talking about. Yeah, 25, we're good. The Winding Cove. The game is actually pretty nice in keeping track of where you've been and what you've done. If you pay attention to the doors of dungeons, question mark means you haven't been in there yet. The half-filled diamond means that you haven't seen everything there is to see. And if there's nothing on it, it means that you've been through and successfully completed it. And there are some dungeons that actually hide secrets, and some pretty cleverly hidden ones too. I went looking around a dungeon for 5 minutes looking for where the bloody hell this secret was supposed to be, but I just couldn't find it for the life of me. So they do a pretty good job with keeping the dungeons varied in their layouts, if not their look. They are very similar, even with like different graphical styles. They have this tendency to just look and play very similar on the surface, but the upside is that you get something like 70 of them in the game. I think the achievement says there's like 73, so you do get a fair amount of content, which, you know, pretty good for a thing like this. So we cleared out the dungeon, so we get to go and open that chest now. Fire Mage Vest. You can also find equipment that you've already found, but the upside to this is that... Ooh, this is a dicky one. The upside to finding equipment that you've already got is that it'll actually upgrade it. And you can also go and upgrade your equipment. You can also go upgrade your equipment at blacksmiths. I'm willing to bet that other teleport pad was where I needed to go to finish that, because as you can see by the little diamond symbol, I have not finished that. With that said, let's pause the game and actually have a little bit of a look at that first. So you can see my gold down the bottom. You can also look around the entire world map while you're out here, and as you can see, they've got a fair bit of ground for you to cover. There is a fair amount of content to be had. Oh, they weren't kidding when they said something like 73 dungeons. And here's where you come to equip all your equipment. You can have one piece of each of those 4 slots on everyone at the same time. So, yeah, swords and staves. And depending on which one you equip determines your class. And they all have different abilities and upgrade different stats. Your physical attack, your magic attack, and your overall defense. You can also come here to your spells to equip them to your 2 characters. So if I unequip the Flame Pearl, for example, you can see that it unequips from the slot. You got 4 slots, and you can choose which one will have that magic. And you can use any of the shoulder buttons. Very useful. And there's your settings menu. You can also turn on playing co-op, but yeah, not the best idea. Also, the frame rate just cut in half. That's weird. Okay, we'll go back to playing solo now. There we go. Oh no, it's fine. It's just the preview window acting up a little bit. Okay. So let's talk to, let's meet Weaponsmith Doggo. Traveled north. So I guess we got to go north now. But yeah, you can pay money to upgrade your stuff. The upgrade costs aren't ridiculous. They can't let us through, huh? Hi, how you doing? Ask around the wall of Lucas. They'll tell you where caves are sometimes, which is nice. I'm guessing that's a puzzle cave. There's also this here, but it requires a golden key. I don't know what that's about. I haven't gotten any golden keys yet. You've also got, yeah, this is your save point and your rest point. That book there will actually... Oh, there's the biscuit seller. 1 million gold. Not a chance. Guess we get to go do another dungeon. The game's actually pretty good looking. I mean, the dungeon design here is obviously getting repetitive, and trust me, while this does look different, just entirely on the surface level from the other continent that I was just on, the Cat continent, it's like all the dungeons did have the same sort of visual flair. So, oh wow, I didn't realize he was that close to death. That's not good for me. Come on, get up, yes, SOB. Thank you. So I should get over there and completely miss my cast. Good lord. And they are just completely and utterly resisting my magic attacks going on here, which is really not good for me at all. Thankfully, I can just roll. No, that's the end of that. Oh! He got up in time. Okay. Thankfully, their mana bars are actually split, so you don't have to worry about wearing out your mana on one character, causing problems for both. That would be just annoying as shit. Yeah, the one thing that this game... Yeah, the graphical style looks great. The soundtrack is pretty good too. I've got no problems with that. So yeah, it's well presented. It looks great. Like, there's really no denying that. It's one of the best looking games I've played in a while, if I'm being perfectly honest. As I said before, it runs really well. It's been pretty well optimized in the grand scheme of things. So, there's the bone. Fire Staff. Is that unlocked yet? Nope, I have to go finish the dungeon before it'll let me do that. Let's check. Yeah, let's beat the crap out of this guy up here first. He'll be easy to take care of. XP. Gold. The Crimson Edge, which is just a better sword. Oh, that's done. Alright. Heal. Heal? No? Okay. Ooh, mana regeneration up. That might be useful considering that I've got it kind of going as a thing. Right, let's actually change that. This inventory screen is actually kind of hard to work your way around. Let's see. White mage hat. I want to be in the armor. Where is it? Mana regen. There we go. And as you upgrade the armor, it actually gets... those special abilities actually get stronger, which is pretty useful. Box of dog biscuits. And hopefully that means we can head north and go through here. You give the dog biscuits. Break time, and they move! Hurrah! That should be the end of the quest. Yep, there we go. And I've leveled up. Honestly, there really isn't that much else to see. The game is basically that loop over and over and over again, which makes it interesting. Yeah, level 80. Let's not touch that. There are a couple of caves hidden around the place that are just ridiculously high level like that. Obviously meant for you to come back later once you finish the main quest line, but still. While it might not appeal to me directly, not particularly my level of depth that I would personally go for, and it's definitely a very repetitive game. The combat is enjoyable. Exploring the worlds fun. Finding decent equipment is nice. And it is enjoyable in its own way. And there are a couple of ways that would be actually pretty enjoyable to play, at least in my point of view. Like, oh yeah, this is the fast travel. Because once you talk to it, you go in and now you can warp pretty much anywhere else that you've been. But yeah, I was playing this mainly... I had a YouTube video on in the background, and I was just looking at it idly while I was listening to the YouTube videos I was watching, and it worked really well in that sense. It's not an absolute cakewalk, so it was actually pretty enjoyable playing it like that, just beating the crap out of things idly while listening to something else on the computer. Worked really well for me. And I can also see this as being a game where you could easily bring along someone who's not very good at games, because as I've already mentioned, the controls are actually pretty simple. Just one button to attack, one button to get out of the bloody way, and all of the shoulder buttons are spells. So that's all you really need to worry about. You just tell them to get out of the way, hammer away on the attack button, and they'll generally have fun like that. Can't really argue with something being that simple, so yeah, I think we're just going to call this video here because there's really not much else to say about it. It's not a bad game, it's pretty lightweight, but if you're looking for something that's just a casual thing to do while you're doing something else, or you've got someone who might appreciate a simple game to play co-op with, why is it doubling all my inputs? That's a little bizarre. I tried to go to the quit option there, but oh well. If you're looking for just something simple like that, this game will do nicely. I just don't recommend that you try and play it seriously at all, because it can get pretty tiring because of its overall repetitiveness and general sameness. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.